Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 10th of June 2022 for the Wrestling Wrap-Up. It's a handful of news brought to you in one easy to watch video. As far as today's show does go, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stories to talk about. We're going to talk about matches that are currently reportedly scheduled, I guess you could say, for both Forbidden Door and Money in the Bank. We're going to give you an update on Adam Cole and Cody Rhodes. There was a interesting, tense little meeting-ish, I guess you could say, or no, we'll call it an encounter between a top AEW and a top WWE guy, and so much more. But with that, I do want to say thank you for joining me here. Whoa, what happened there? All of a sudden, everything got bright. I want to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited if you are watching live, or if you're watching later, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or podcast services around the globe. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. And Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Also with that, you can subscribe to the channel for no extra cost. Because remember, if you already have Amazon Prime, you take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things. And there we go. Also, remember, if you are a follower of us on YouTube, you can help us out over there by hitting that join button to become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Plus, you can do all of that, but more directly support us by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. You get everything there, but it more directly supports us, and it's in one concise area. And also remember, finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether that's a new game, an old game, a free game. Getting bucks for Fortnite, Rocket League, Fall Guys. Remember, the new season of Fortnite just started last weekend. It's the Vibin' season, and they got a lot of cool things in that new season you may want to have to pick up with the Battle Pass, but not just the Battle Pass, the Crew Pack as well. So when you're getting your V-Bucks to buy all that, remember, they're going to ask you for creator code, and that creator code is PW Unlimited. Oh, and now the button wants to work. Code PW Unlimited. I don't know why it wouldn't work the 14 other times I just clicked it. Anyways, let's jump in. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. And we're first going to talk about AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and their Forbidden Door event. As well, we do know of another top match that's scheduled for the show. So we already know that Jon Moxley will face the winner of Hiroki Goto versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Title. I almost said IWGP, but no. Moxley versus most likely Tanahashi. Moxley's been asking for the singles Tanahashi match for a long time. But we may now also know what the other top match, I guess you could say the co-main event, will be on that show as well. According to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer states that as of right now, the AEW World Title is the headliner, the main event, the final match of the night, but the IWGP Heavyweight Championship will also be featured on the card. The match will actually be a triple threat match with whoever the champion is. I would assume Okada coming out of Dominion, because remember, Okada is defending his title against Jay White at Dominion. Whoever is coming out of Dominion, the champion, will defend their titles against both Hangman Page and Adam Cole. This past week on Dynamite, Hangman Page did call out Okada, saying, hey, I want you and I want you for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Adam Cole would then interrupt and go, whoa, here's a couple things I got to tell you. First off, my boy Jay White challenging for that title. So it may not be Okada come Forbidden Door. Also, I want to challenge for the title. Why do you need to get it? Why do you deserve the shot and not me? So with all of that, it now looks like it's going to be a triple threat. Meltzer did previously report that Hangman versus Okada in just a singles match for the belt was the match scheduled, but then he went back on that and said that original lineup that he saw was a fake lineup. He was given something not 100% accurate and was told, quote, Hangman versus Okada is not happening as a singles match. So in turn, if it's not happening as a singles match, there you go. The triple threat, Okada, Hangman, Adam Cole. So it's good to see that they're going to feature Hangman still in a prominent match on the card, and as well as Adam Cole. Because a lot of people were worried, Adam Cole going to be relegated to some 10-man tag. But no, Adam Cole is going to be in what presumably seems like the second biggest match of the night. But we got to talk about old Adam Cole and the injuries he's currently dealing with, as Adam Cole is dealing with a series of injuries. According to a new report from Fightful, they do report, quote, word emerged recently that Adam Cole has been battling a series of injuries as of late. Fightful have learned that it's been going on for longer than most realize. Cole has been dealing with a labrum injury as far back as his actual world title program with Hangman Page. He worked through the pain, and based on what AEW sources told them, that he kept working through that pain even to AEW in the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I don't know why my brain kind of just freaked out there and I couldn't think of Double or Nothing. The report goes on to continue stating, those that we spoke to claimed that the labrum was actually torn. So that ain't good. Yet, neither Cody nor AEW themselves would confirm that report. Cole hasn't worked since Double or Nothing when he faced Samoa Joe to win the Owen Hart Cup tournament. And now we're going to see what's going on. Cole is still on TV the last couple of weeks, so it's not like they're keeping him off TV. They teased him being in this world title match. And so is he just going to take some time off and hope the injury heals itself? Or are they going to eventually have to make him go rehab and whatnot? Because a torn labrum, let's see how much that is. Torn labrum recovery. Torn labrum recovery. This says the recovery depends on a number of factors, such as where the tear was located, how severe it is, and if it needs surgery. It is believed that it could take 4 to 6 weeks for a labrum to reattach itself to the rim of the bone. Probably another 4 to 6 weeks to be strong after that. So if Adam Cole tore his labrum off the bone, because it says right here in the report, those that we spoke to claim that the labrum was torn. If Adam Cole tore the labrum off the bone, that's 2 months that he shouldn't be working. Now, we don't know if it's torn completely off the bone or if it's just slightly torn. But regardless, they're hoping that he's going to be good to go for that pay-per-view. And if he's been dealing with a torn labrum since March, at least, that's not good that he's been working on it. Like, really, not good that he's been working on it, because it's only doing worse damage. Unlike Cody, who his injury was torn straight off the bone, we don't know if Adam Cole's injury is torn straight off the bone. If it's torn straight off the bone, you can't do any more damage to it, but then you're going to need surgery. With this report stating that it's unclear if he's going to have to need surgery or even leave for rehab, like take time off, not be on the road and rehab the injury, that leads me to believe that it's not torn straight off the bone. Now, I don't know that for sure, but that's just what this report is leading me to. This also says, I'm looking up, can a torn labrum heal without surgery? Effective non-surgery solutions include rest, physical therapy, and an anti-inflammatory medication. Most patients with hip labral tears don't need surgery, but injuries that don't respond to corrective methods may require minimal invasive arthroscopic surgery. So, Most torn labrums do not require surgery, which is really good, but we just hope that he doesn't continue to do extra damage to it. Again, I tried to compare it to Cody. Cody's injury, where he tore his pec, he couldn't do any extra damage. Like, he did the most he can. Adam Cole possibly could do more damage to this torn labrum, so we will continue to follow the story very closely. And if we do hear anything else on Adam Cole and whether he's going to be cleared in time for Forbidden Door, because that's what they hope. The hope is he takes time off, doesn't work anything physical till Forbidden Door, and then he's good to go for that triple threat match. Which I'm shocked New Japan is doing a triple threat for their belt. Because New Japan typically has been, I guess you could say, very traditional with their world title. Normally, only singles matches. Kid Vicious says, will Kenny Omega be able to return to the ring? I mean, eventually, but not by Forbidden Door. Oh, no. Kenny Omega is nowhere close to being ready for Forbidden Door. Kenny Omega may appear at Forbidden. I'll tell you this. Kenny Omega is so far off from getting back in the ring that because of his injuries, he didn't travel to Vegas for Double or Nothing. The travel would have been too much for Kenny Omega. That's how bad off he is right now. That the injury was so bad that he didn't want to travel to Vegas because of it. Even though he had been at a couple AEW shows recently working as a producer backstage. So there's your thing right there with Kenny Omega. Our third story of the day, we're keeping in with AEW, has to do a couple top guys for this. This is actually an AEW. Well, no, we'll flip this around real fast. We're going to talk MJF for a moment. As far as MJF does go, we all know that, he no-showed his meet and greet the day before Double or Nothing, and then he did show up and work the match at Double or Nothing, but then he came to Dynamite and cut that promo. Then they stopped talking about him like he is non-existent, and then Warner Media Discovery pulled him from all advertising, and we have a little more info on that for Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave Meltzer writes, AEW will be foregoing short-term financial gains for a long-term payoff when it comes to MJF. Meltzer adds that AEW wants, quote, people to think he's gone, which would explain why the announcers no longer mention him on television. And AEW social media and YouTube channels have stopped posting all MJF-related content. Furthermore, AEW asking Warner Brothers Discovery to pull MJF from promotional spots and commercials for AEW programming. Unfollowing MJF on Twitter and removing his profile from the website are all strategic moves designed to make people believe that he is done with the company. Now, that's something new that I had heard but wasn't sure. The whole thing of Warner Brothers Discovery pulling MJF and having an edict pulling him from all advertising. Now, the initial reports of that made it sound like it was coming from Warner Brothers Discovery, but now we've learned that is actually something that AEW asked WBD to do. AEW asked them, hey, we're trying to do something here where it looks like this guy's no longer with the company, so pull him from all advertising. So that's interesting to see that it was AEW that went to Warner Brothers Discovery and asked to get him pulled from advertising, and not Warner Brothers Discovery, which now, again, makes me believe even more that it's a work now. It started as a shoot, it started as real, but it's a work now. A lot of people were confused, including myself, when that report came out last week of, Warner Brothers Discovery asked for MJF to be pulled from promotional stuff. No, AEW asked WBD to pull MJF from promotional stuff. But in keeping with AEW, this is like an AEW cross/WWE story. Apparently a few top names in AEW that used to be really close friends. Well, don't like each other anymore, it seems like, and had a heated, tense confrontation in Houston, Texas recently, as Dave Meltzer wrote the following in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and my link will not open anymore for some reason. Let me pull it up a different way. Let's see. Here. Open. Let's go the long way to the Observer. All right, let's see if I can find it here really quickly. Maybe it just doesn't want to load at all. Come on, there we go. All right, here we go. Got it. Dave Meltzer wrote the following quote. After the May 18th show in Houston, there was a confrontation in the hotel the wrestlers were staying at between Chris Jericho and MVP at about 1 a.m. after the Dynamite tapings. Something that I'm not clear of happened 18 months ago where there was a falling out. So there's a falling out between Jericho and MJF, who used to be friends, who are no longer friends. Jericho was talking to Matt Hardy and MVP showed up. Most people didn't know what was up and thought he was kidding around until it became clear he wasn't kidding. Nothing bad happened, even though it was a tense situation. Jericho did tell him that he doesn't fight jobbers when he got into the elevator, and MJF kept screaming about it in the lobby. We don't know exactly what's going on here with MVP and Chris Jericho, but we do know that back in, I want to say, November of 2020, Jericho made some remark on Twitter about the election. And MVP tweeted him saying, "Hey, I am Jericho, delete this." Then MVP responded and say, "Hey, at Lance Storm, I can't see it because I'm blocked." And then someone asked him about being blocked by Jericho, and he said, "Yup." So maybe this all stems from Jericho posting about the 2020 election. I don't know, but it was stated in the Observer that this was a tense situation at a hotel in Houston just a couple of weeks ago, roughly a little under a month ago. We are getting some new news coming in. Let me just double check this really fast from Fightful on their Patreon. Looks like a Raw wrestler is at SmackDown right now. Okay. This is something we knew was going to happen. All right, we'll talk about this when we talk about our SmackDown preview later on in the show. You know what? I'm going to rearrange something here. I was going to talk about Vince McMahon now, but let's keep all the WWE stuff together. So first, let's talk about sponsors. Sponsor of today's video, well, that's FOCO. FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more, with major sports and entertainment licenses at their disposal, along with a powerful infrastructure, a dedicated team, and a broad variety of products. FOCO is reaching new heights every single day. Whether you are a wrestling fan for WWE, an NFL fan, an NBA fan, or even like Nickelodeon merchandise, FOCO has something that can fit your fandom. Yeah, I said it. Nickelodeon. They got some All Real Monster stuff that's really cool, like their bobbleheads and whatnot. Remember, head over to FOCO.com and check out the great selection of stuff that they have over there. And don't forget to tell them PW Unlimited sent you. Again, don't forget to tell them that you got this link from PW Unlimited. So as we move forward, here we go. As we move forward, we got some Vince McMahon news to talk about, as it looks like Vince is shopping around his memoir. Earlier this week, the New York Post's Page 6 reported that WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon's representatives are shopping a memoir to major book publishers with the idea that McMahon would go in depth on how he built his empire of WWE. The report noted that the book will be similar to an autobiography of Nike co-founder Phil Knight, with one source stating that unlike other books on McMahon and on WWE in the past, this one is, quote, very much his memoir told in his voice and his rise of life. The book is reportedly being handled by Viglione Associates, the publisher behind many other different memoirs like Mike Tyson, Mark Messier, and Kevin Garnett. Representatives for WWE and Viglione, butchering this name, Vigliano Associates did not respond to Page 6 on the rumors of the memoir, the report added. In an update from Dave Meltzer on the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, representatives of McMahon are indeed shopping the memoir to major book companies, and everyone within WWE has been mum in trying to keep the project a secret. Meltzer added that the WWE endorsed book would attempt to go head-to-head with the Abram Reisman upcoming biography on Vince McMahon titled Ringmaster, due out in early 2023. Reisman, the author of, quote, True Believer, The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee, a biography of the former Marvel Comics pioneer, is also working on a book with Simon & Schuster about Vince McMahon coming out next year. Reisman began working on this project in 2020, and Meltzer added that although Reisman's biography of McMahon doesn't have any involvement from WWE or McMahon himself, it, quote, has just about everyone else talking about it. So with that, this is not the only Vince McMahon-led project or project about Vince McMahon in the works. We also do know that there is a Netflix biography, like a, I don't know how to put it, Netflix docuseries about Vince McMahon in the works. They're also trying to work on a series about Vince McMahon and the steroids trial. That's kind of, we haven't heard much about that one since Bradley Cooper was pitched to play Vince McMahon. The people versus Vince McMahon kind of thing. And there's also a couple other things in the works as well, still in production. Keep it on our WWE train. Let's talk Cody. Cody freaking Rhodes. I'm not talking Cody. I'm not talking Seth Franklin Rollins. I'm talking Cody freaking Rhodes. So as we saw last week, Cody Rhodes is being regarded as a god, basically. JBL used to call him the wrestling god, or himself the wrestling god. No. Let's call Cody the new wrestling god for what he did last week. Superhuman strength. Torn peck off the bone. And I've talked to a few people since we've learned of this Cody injury that have had that same injury and said, I don't know how he did it. I had that injury and couldn't even lift my arm days after the injury. So it's like, holy crap. But Cody had we don't know exactly when the injury occurred. Most are saying last Friday while he was weight training. Cody then worked Hell in a Cell inside the Hell in a Cell match and had a tremendous match. Then he comes up Monday on Raw and says, you know what? I got to get this taken care of. And Cody did have surgery yesterday to repair the injury, as his wife Brandy tweeted out the following. Pull this up here. Brandy Rose tweeted, quote, the doctor just repaired Cody's pectoral tendon, which was torn completely off the bone. Successful surgery. He is on the road to recovery now. So it is good to see that Cody did have successful surgery to repair the injury, and now we just sit and wait and see how long he's going to be out of action. The growing consensus is 5 to 6 months. John Cena did 4, but John Cena is a freaking robot. Triple H and Elias both had the same injury, 5 months. Hiromu Takahashi had the same injury, 6 months. Now, could Cody be out longer? Yes. Could Cody be out shorter? Possibly, but the going word is possibly thinking 5 to 6 months. And there is that actual possibility that he's actually out of action. He can get cleared within 6 months, but some people think, oh, well, that's December. Just keep him out till Rumble to get the big pop, and then Cody will be back in 7 months. So there is that possibility that Cody's out of action for 7 months and doesn't come back till the Royal Rumble. And do we know the date of next year's Royal Rumble? I don't think we do yet. Royal Rumble 2023. I don't think we know even a projected date. Oh, we might have a projected date. Yeah, we don't know the projected date. Probably late January, like normal. But Cody could be anywhere from, I would say, 5 to 7 months. He could get cleared within 5 or 6, but they could do the whole thing what they did with Edge last year. When Edge tore his bicep, I think it was, Edge was kept out longer than he needed to be because he got cleared at the end of the year, and then they go, you know what, we'll just save him for the Rumble. And that's what they did. Speaking of schedules and when someone's going to return, let's talk Roman Reigns. Let's talk Roman Reigns and him no longer being scheduled for Money in the Bank. According to a new report from Justin Brasso of Sports Illustrated that came out earlier this week, Roman Reigns is no longer scheduled to be working the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It had been reported that Roman Reigns is going to work all major events this year for WWE as far as pay-per-views and premium live events do go, but then Money in the Bank got relegated from a stadium show to a normal show and no longer considered a important big-time event. And so Roman no longer working the show. The working plan was for Roman Reigns to defend the WWE and Universal Championships against Riddle on that show, but not happening anymore. Riddle is slated to be at SmackDown tonight to call out Roman Reigns, but when's that match going to happen now? Not going to happen at SummerSlam because the SummerSlam plan is still Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. So that would lead one to believe, which this is not a bad idea, Roman, Riddle, title, SmackDown. Do it on television to pop a big rating on Fox. That would not be a bad idea, but as of right now, Roman is still slated to work Money in the Bank, not Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, according to a new report from Fightful, as they stated that they were told that Roman is no longer scheduled for Money in the Bank, but still scheduled for SummerSlam. SummerSlam will be taking place on July 30th from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. The report from Fightful also noted that WWE representatives they spoke with said that nothing should change when it comes to Roman and SummerSlam and him working that show. Because they ain't changing SummerSlam. I mean, I highly doubt they change SummerSlam from a stadium to an arena. I doubt they go from Nissan Stadium to Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. They're going to keep it a stadium show and move forward with that. Because it's SummerSlam. They can sell enough tickets. But we mentioned Money in the Bank. We got a couple possible Money in the Bank matches that are scheduled to take place. And we already know that Bianca Belair will be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. That match set on Monday. That match we already know is happening. That's official. But it also looks like WWE will be doing a WWE Tag Team Championship match with the Usos and the Street Profits. This past week on Monday Night Raw, the Street Profits did defeat the Usos in a, I guess you could call it, championship contenders match. And that's, I guess, going to quantify them getting this shot at Money in the Bank. Originally, according to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, the Money in the Bank match was supposed to be the Usos against Riddle and Nakamura, but then they did that match on television. So now they're moving forward off of that. I guess they want Riddle to quickly move on to Roman Reigns, and now they're moving the Usos on with the Street Profits. So, there we go. Speaking of one Matt Riddle, SmackDown. According to a new report from Fightful does report, quote, a Raw star is scheduled to head back to SmackDown tonight. Internal plans as of Thursday night called for Riddle to appear on Friday Night SmackDown to pursue his feud with the Bloodline. The pitch that we'd heard as of Thursday was Riddle to be involved tonight in an angle with Sami Zayn. Details are far and few between, as of now, but one of the angles presented was Sami making an attempt to get Riddle off SmackDown by beating him in a match with the stipulation that if Zayn wins, Riddle is barred from SmackDown. The Fightful does close this out by stating we should have SmackDown plans up shortly before the show. As with any creative wrestling, things can change. So, it looks like tonight we could be getting a match between Riddle and Sami Zayn, where if Sami Zayn wins, Riddle can't come to SmackDown anymore. He's relegated to only staying on Raw and can't go to any other brand. Well, can't go to the blue brand. Riddle wins, then I assume there we go. But with Riddle coming to SmackDown and working with Sami tonight, that kind of leads me to believe we ain't getting any Roman tonight. No Roman again on the show. And they keep alluding to the fact that Roman's there, but we don't see him because the Usos like to go into Roman Reigns' locker room. It's got the sign on the door, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. But then we never see the big dog, the tribal chief, the head of the table. They just allude to he's in his locker room all night. So if we do hear anything else on Riddle being on SmackDown and possibly working with Sami Zayn, we will have it for you right here. Speaking of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown, Let's go double check if anything else has been announced since we went live. I highly doubt it. The WWE has announced technically on their website only 3 things are announced, but we know of 4. So this is not on the website. But last week, Max Dupree said that he will unveil his first client tonight for Max Model, whatever they're called. As far as the action is concerned for tonight's Friday Night SmackDown, we do know that we have 2 Money in the Bank qualifying matches. On the women's side, we have Lacey Evans against Xia Li. Winner advances, of course, to the Money in the Bank ladder match. And on the men's side, we do have Drew McIntyre taking on Sheamus. Also, we do know that the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line tonight when Ricochet defends that title against Gunther. So those are the only things that we do know for tonight's Friday Night SmackDown. And, of course, the Riddle stuff. Riddle said on Monday he was coming to Raw to confront Roman, or SmackDown to confront Roman Reigns. But with that, guys, I want to say, well, that's going to wrap up the wrap-up. That's all I got for you. That's all we got to talk about on today's show. Programming note, no SmackDown review tonight because I'm going out of town in the next, 3 hours. We're going camping this weekend. We're going to the lake. We're going to hang out. You see all the lake stuff, pool toys back there. The kids already blew them up. We're going to have to deflate them to get them in the car. But there is going to be no SmackDown review tonight because I'm going to be out of town. But any big news does drop from SmackDown, I got a phone. I can make a video. I can upload. I can let you guys know what's going on. So we will, if anything major does happen coming out of SmackDown, let you guys know. And we'll go from there. So with that, guys, I want to say thank you if you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. And I want to say thank you if you're watching later, either on YouTube or podcast platforms all around the globe, like Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Pod, Google Pod, and so much more. So have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, guys.